How you been?
Pretty good.
What
Pretty
you been
good.
up? What you been up to?
Just trying to start cybersecurity stuff.
Mm,
But
sounds boring. Wait, before you go, could you shut this
starting
off?
with Galaxy 3 was amazing.
I'm going to see it probably Friday, maybe. I think Friday, because tomorrow I have a like a podcast interview thing that I have to do with somebody, and
hmm
then I think Friday's the only day that I actually like fully have off. Because then Saturday I'm going golfing, and then Sunday I teach. So
It's like, in my opinion, it's one of the better ones.
not willing to put a top five of Marvel.
Of Marvel movies in general,
Yeah,
I think the only thing keeping it out of that is Guardians 1.
true. True.
Like, I don't think it was better than 1 only because, like, 1 was such a novel thing when it came out, you know what I mean? Like,
Yeah, it's like a once in a
80s,
lifetime.
yeah. But they really did like perfect getting back into there, I think.
I'm curious to see how Marvel does going forward with Guardians now being done. And obviously, they're in kind of a tricky spot with people. I think they lost a lot after the original like phases kind of went through, and now it's
Yeah.
trying to establish shit. But
Yeah, it's kind of because I don't want to spoil it, so I'm not gonna like really talk about that. But they like definitely since Endgame, I think this was the best movie I've seen in Marvel other than the Spider-Man ones, which I know Spider-Man are technically Sony, but they're still
yeah,
a Marvel
it also
superhero
was like kind of nostalgia bait to a certain extent,
for sure, for
which
sure.
for me takes away from it a little bit. Like it's great in theaters. It's a great spectacle moment, but like it's not.
Yeah,
I don't know. I'm not expecting anything to be Infinity War or Endgame, but I am expecting it to be like Captain America Winter Soldier, where there is independent plot line that goes on with existing characters that feels compelling, and I feel like they've been struggling with that,
oh, it was a breath of fresh air. There was no like, there was barely any need to watch something else.
which is great. Yes. Okay.
That's what made it great.
I'm gonna book my ticket for Friday. That's it.
Yeah, you
That
can
solves
just
it.
go and watch it. Like, you don't have to watch Ant-Man to see it, which, like, people were trying to tell me, go watch Ant. Like, a lot of my friends were like, I haven't seen Ant-Man, and I was like, who cares? I'm like, James Gunn wouldn't do something like that. James Gunn's
Yeah,
not a huge, like,
I'm not gonna
force
lie.
people.
I did not leave Ant Man happy about it.
Yeah,
It didn't do all that much for me, if I'm being completely honest.
it's probably the best movie they've had since Endgame, to be honest. Like, I would say the only movie that's close to it for me was Shang-Chi.
Oh, Shang-Chi was great, but I think the third act kind of fell through a little bit on that one.
hmm
That's my only gripe.
They
Uh,
the funny thing is their best movies lately have been ones that are like, independent of everything else happening.
we're officially good to go. I got my ticket.
Nice. They're like when they're actually independent of everything else, I feel like Marvel movies are way more fun.
Yeah.
Because like they got so sucked into making every movie leading up to Infinity War that it started to get old.
Yeah, like the thing with like Phase now granted, like I will admit I started my Marvel fandom with Infinity War. That was my first movie for
Oh.
Marvel. Like I knew I'd seen some other movies prior to that, but like never really got into it. But everybody was talking about Infinity War, so I was like, screw it. I'm gonna go see it on opening night. Why not? Because I got like a Thursday night premiere ticket, and I walked out of it being able to obviously piece together everything very quickly, but it was like, oh my god. So I immediately afterwards went back and rewatched every Marvel movie within a
Yeah.
span of like 3 days, 4 days, and caught myself
Yeah.
up on everything. And then went and rewatched
That's
Infinity War,
insane.
and it
That's a
hit
lot.
even better the second time.
Yeah, like starting out that way would be so hard. Because like originally it was like novel, you know what I mean? It was like cool seeing everything kind of come together, get like what is it, brought together? I don't know the word for it, but
Yeah,
everything was coming and it was looking cool, and then all of a sudden I was like, okay, this is a lot of like crossovers. Like this is to the point of crossovers that I was like getting, which I know is ironic because we're the crossover podcast, but I was like, I'm kind of getting sick of crossovers. I was like, this is an insane amount of crossovers. Like, can this superhero just be a superhero and in his own little way? And it kind of got old. And now that they're kind of going back to like letting superheroes be independent again, it's kind of nice again.
agreed.
Because I mean, that's really what everything is, though. I mean, movies in general are usually like what is it, fire hoses.
Yeah,
Like that's the system. Like there was a time in American history when westerns was just what you were getting, whether you liked it or not.
yeah,
And right now it's superheroes. You're getting superhero movies.
yeah. It feels like there's not a lot at the moment to kind of balance it out. Like we're getting another Fast and Furious movie, which feels like
Yeah.
par for the court. Like I don't know, just it's been interesting. I'm
Yep.
curious to see what else comes of it. Video game adaptations are next. Look, as long as the movies and series are good, personally, I really hope that video games stick to series, not movies.
Yeah.
I think that's where the storytelling shines best. But
Well, it's a lot harder to fit like the what is it, 60 hours of gameplay and story being delivered into a 3-hour movie. It's just not
The Last of Us just nailed it,
the
if we're being
best
honest.
idea. Yep.
Like easily,
They
hands
had enough
down, the
time.
best video game adaptation. Period.
Yeah.
I don't know. Anyways, we got some stuff to talk about today. Obviously, NA begins our MSI run tomorrow. Europe pretty much ended theirs today on a 16-minute game, and the LCS community, or at least people involved in the LCS, seem to be really pissed off right now. I noticed this theme on Twitter, uh, and maybe I'm misinterpreting, but we'll get into that in a bit. You let me know where you want to start. Because you sent me DMs of shit that's fucking wild.
Bro, I think the Carzy the Carzy story is the funniest thing ever. But
Would you
I've
like me to
been
do a read along? Would you like me to read it out loud for the class?
honestly, you could read it and it would be hilarious.
Uh,
Like
you know what? Screw it.
I think it's one of the funniest things a player has tweeted in a long time. Like genuinely. Is it middle school humor? 100%. But that's what makes it funny.
Here we go. 3:07 a.m. My phone displayed 3:07 a.m. when I woke up. The room was blanketed in ebony, not a single scintilla of light in the never-ending darkness, save for the dim light emitted by my phone screen. I wondered for a second where I was. I wasn't in my bed, that was for sure. The realization then dawned on me that I had in fact fallen asleep in the gaming house. I remember it better now. I had been watching TV and made the decision to take a nap, only it lasted longer than I expected. I hadn't put much thought into what woke me up, not until I heard a noise. Muffled, but distinct and contrasting to the otherwise complete silence surrounding me. Perhaps one of my teammates was playing still, I thought. It was late, but not that late. I decided to check, getting up from the sofa and walking towards the room next door. Oddly enough, the door was closed. Unusual. I didn't put much thought into it, and instead opened it, the door slowly opening with a small creak. And then I saw it. Elyoya, sitting down on the long table that held up our monitors, his back arched and pressed against one. Niski, standing tall before him, his hands around Elyoya's waist, fingers digging into his hips. Their lips melting together with passion and vigor, slowly moving against one another. I stifled my grasp and closed the door as quietly as I could. A concoction of emotions ran deep through me. I felt confused at first, but then slowly, the overwhelming feelings had settled down, and I was left with a deep realization. I liked it.
It's so bad. It
That
is
is
so bad.
is
The
that a
fact
copy
that
pasta from somewhere?
I don't know. That's the thing. I have no idea. Like it's it's genuinely though like one of the funniest things I've seen a player tweet in a while. Like to I think the thing is though, people have to know if they don't know the context is that like it was tweeted like that, but it's because of everything that happened.
Yeah.
Like right, so some Spanish guy from that broadcast tweeted that it looks like Niski doesn't even care, and it looks like Alioya is taking it to heart. But then all of a sudden, like
They're
that
making
happens.
passionate, sweet, tender lovin's in the back.
Well, true, he does. Manimal is right though. He does post a lot of this type of stuff, anyways. But the fact he posted it like into the face of controversy, and his headliner is kind of what gives it all away that he's posting it into that. He put the Spanish versus like French or whatever,
Yeah.
like war. Like it's hilarious. I mean, it's rough because uh,
They
if
for
anyone
for
missed it, Europe
for
Europe
lack
got
of a better
cooked.
term, they got their shit pushed in.
Yeah, like like they got destroyed. I it kind of scares me. Either Korea's just really good. I mean, we're about to learn like
I think
next
Korea's just
game.
that good. I really
I
do.
will say, uh, format needs a little work.
I don't know if the format needs work so long as the bracket draw needs a little bit work. Because
That would be what it is.
if you
Yeah, my
swap
bad.
Mad T1 with C9 BLG, the bracket is literally perfect.
Yeah.
Because then you would end up having uh, T1 versus likely JDG, and either
Mhm.
C9 or BLG versus uh, Genji.
Yeah, I mean, that would actually make sense,
And
and
losers
that would have
bracket
been
would
what I
be
would have done.
two EU versus NA matchups.
Yep.
It's just a shitty
Or
draw.
well, it could have been anything like that. Well, that's the thing though. The draw should be like it should be one of those draws that's forced to keep regions separate,
Yeah, regions
like
have to be on
usual.
other sides of the bracket.
At that point though, you just know what you're putting in really.
Yeah, but that's fine. I think like
But
that's
that's
fair. The
okay.
the
Yep.
entire intent of this is to be competitive while understanding that China and Korea realistically are at the top of all this. So as
Yeah.
long as you're making sure that they're not playing each other in the first round, like we could have also had the other problem where China faces Korea and then Europe faces NA in the first round. And then people
Hmm.
would be like, "Okay, well that's not cool." But realistically it worked out really well where we had a China versus Korea, or like a basically a top 2 region versus like a third, fourth region in all of the first round matchups. It just sucked the way the bracket landed.
Yeah, and it's like I don't know. I mean, it's just so right now it's just so bad. Like it's really hard to get hyped for this many teams that have already duked it out. I just watched most of these teams play each other if the region has a good system. I
Yeah.
mean,
Like for
some of
example, I,
these,
I mean I already booked a tea time for Saturday in the afternoon. Like assuming the series don't
yeah,
go late, which they haven't so far. Like watching G2 and Mad Lions doesn't really do much for me, if I'm being completely honest with you.
no.
Like I know ultimately I think G2 wins that pretty easy.
And we just watched it 3 weeks ago,
Yeah.
ish. Like,
And then I think C9 pummels Golden Guardians despite how like the problem is people are hyping up Golden Guardians now because they came through play-ins. If they get stomped 3-0 by Cloud9, it's not good. Like
no.
it's real, like it
Well, I
kills
don't
a
know if
lot of
Cloud9
hype.
loses to BLG.
I'm on the C9 hype train for very obvious reasons.
I mean, I know people are on the hype train, but I've been very critical of these mid laners for a while now, and I'm not taking any of that criticism back. And I think C9 is strong in the areas they need to be strong in.
Yeah. I did you see the Sven video of him
No.
talking about the series? Basically, he said you'll know who's going to win every single one of the games in our series within the first 12 minutes.
Yeah.
because BLG is a team that just either dominates or runs it down. And there's no in between where they like, especially in bot lane, he said, they will go for the level 2 plays and either win it or lose it, no matter what. And like they will go for it. And if they win it, then they're gonna smash you the entire game. If they lose
Hmm.
it, they're gonna die no matter what. And it's like, even
Yeah.
though we saw some counteracting to that with the Golden Guardians, Yasuo Gragas comp, like I think they're beatable. I really do. I just think Golden Guardians lack the depth to do it.
I think they're definitely beatable. It's the only thing I don't know how to word it though, is like it's low key worrying how confident I've been reading LCS fans get lately on Cloud9.
Yeah.
Not because it's bad to be confident, more because I know how these people get when it doesn't work out.
Yeah, like
LCS fans get in their own head really quick
it's
if
gonna
it
be,
doesn't work
if C9 loses this
out.
series,
Like,
it's going to get ugly because people are now
yeah.
building up this expectation that Cloud9 are favorites when they're not. Realistically, I don't care how BLG looked
Well,
before. I don't care about. I mean, correct me if I'm
are
wrong. I
they
think
favorites?
I've seen more people predicting Cloud9
No, I meant
than
like,
it.
are they what does
I have no
Vegas
clue.
say?
I have no clue, but it seems like from the perspective of LCS fans, people are looking at this
Mhm.
like, yeah, this is C9 series. Like, if they're gonna win, they're gonna win it here. And it's like, no, we are still very much fighting an uphill battle here. The LCS 1 seed beating the LPL 2 seed would be still an insane win.
Interesting.
What?
BLG is heavy favorites.
Okay, good, as they should be.
I just mean like they're you could buy Cloud9 plus 1.5 even. Like plus 1.5 games.
Wow.
So they think Cloud9 these are best of fives, yeah,
Yeah.
five. So I
So
guess
they'd
there
have to
is a
win too.
chance, but that's crazy.
That
They
should be
think
expected though. How many games did we take off of China at Worlds?
I don't know. None?
I don't think any.
Hmm.
Now, granted, it's best of 1, and I think best of 5 actually gives us a little bit of leeway room to possibly fix some of
That's
our issues.
wild. Yeah, I just mean that blows my mind that they're like they're that heavily underdogged, but
Yeah, like in my
I
mind,
feel like
if
Berserker's really good.
he is, but Elk's really good. And
Yeah, he
more like,
is.
I'm looking at the top lane, like Fudge versus Bin's gonna be interesting.
My biggest thing to watch, I think, in the series, or what's going to end up mattering the most, is M&S.
Yeah, I
Like,
agree.
because Yagao is not playing great right now, or whatever's going on with him isn't great. And if M&S can't, like, exploit that, then it's going to be a pretty big problem. Now, granted, it has been hilarious watching the EUS solo queue games against him. Like, I feel bad for the guy. He's genuinely getting, like, hosed.
Yeah.
But apparently last time he went to EUS, like, he was inting in solo queue. So when he came back, he's been like the target of EUS antics where people like get gold leads and then just AFK the game.
Yep.
And so he's been like getting really hit on. So I'm hoping he doesn't tilt, which we'll see. I mean, this is what everyone's curious about, if he can last this kind of stuff.
Yeah. I
He
mean,
hasn't had any problems when he's winning.
I'm looking at it this way. I think bot lane is actually even. I think Sven and
I
Berserker
think it
can
is.
100% keep up with Elk, and I don't remember their support's name. Um, Anybody able to help me out in there before I look like a real idiot?
I thought it was missing, but I could be wrong.
It might be. Uh, I think Blabber's going to be solid in the jungle, but obviously like not going to single-handedly carry the series. He's never done that on the international stage.
I was wrong. It's on.
Oh, it's on.
My bad.
Okay.
Yeah.
Uh, like you said, it comes down to M&S being able to get the better of what is relatively weak LPL mid laners, and then Fudge not getting bodied in top, which I'm really worried about based on what we saw last time at Worlds. Like I am scared he's gonna be going down like 10, 15 CS and losing matchups.
Well, I assume he's changed his prep method.
I mean, I would assume so
Like,
too, and I hope so, but
cause last time his prep method was a little just too like ego, really, or what I don't really
yeah,
know what you'd
the
call it.
1v1 Darshan method, yeah.
Yeah, it didn't really work. So I'd assume he's changed it up. If he hasn't, it could be tough. But even then, you're not really playing people who are as good as like Chinese tops or Korean tops. So it doesn't really matter how you prep. I feel like almost you have to
Yeah.
just play against them.
I noticed in Sven's video he did not talk about any lane besides bot lane. So I don't know what that means, but we'll see.
Yeah.
At the end of the day, if you had to put $1,000 on it right now to predict the exact score line, what do you think it is?
Mm, that's tough because I'm debating 3-0 or 3-1 BLG.
Yeah.
Like, I think 3-1. I think Cloud9 can surprise them in one of the games.
I'm going to go with my heart here for obvious reasons.
But that's if I'm doing money.
I'm going to say 3-0 Cloud9.
3-0 Cloud9?
Because I think
I mean,
realistically, the scenario where Cloud9 wins is that they are just simply the better team and BLG is having a worse day. I think
I
if you
think
give them time to ramp up as the series goes on, I just don't think you're going to be able to beat BLG in 5
if
games.
there's one series to take an underdog, this would be the one.
Yeah, it's the only one.
Yeah, like this would be the one to take the underdog. I mean, you could very happily take Cloud9 here and then just throw like whatever amount of money it takes on uh who
JDG.
plays tomorrow, JDG beating Golden Guardians to get your money back, and that could be your strategy.
Follow up question: do you see Golden Guardians taking a single game off of JDG?
Not really. Not at
Neither do
all.
I.
If I mean, if G2 got cooked like that, I don't think it's gonna work out, man.
You mean Mad?
I know Mad got cooked, but
Because
I'm saying
G2
G2.
had two winnable games. One that they actually
Yeah, but
won.
they still couldn't, like, that's what I'm saying though. They could only get that one game, and it looked like they were in winning positions at times. Like things looked like it was good for G2, and it still just couldn't work out. Like,
What I'm going to find hilarious is everybody's hyping up Korea to be like the best teams of this tournament. I've seen that every freaking time. With the exception
yeah.
of last year at Worlds. Prior to that, who's won it every time?
Well, I
China.
mean, yeah.
We're not gonna be able to see it until winners bracket finals.
And chat said it's crazy. We're all back on JG's hype train after they tanked Worlds, but they added Ruler.
Yeah.
And they added a Knight. Like they
It's a slightly
directly
different team.
got better. They got way better. Like they didn't
I
even get a little better. They got a lot better.
I just personally refuse to buy into the Korea hype train until I see them play the LPL in a best of 5. Because I've seen
Yeah.
T1 choke too many times now to let them 16-minuting Mad Lions convince me that they're even favorites against Genji. I'm still taking Genji in that series.
Like JDG is so freaking deep that they have Knight and Ruler, and you mentioned them, and it's like, oh man, that like sounds like a good team. And they also just happen to have Kanavi. Like,
Yeah. And Kanavi's
there's
just nuts.
yeah, he's probably the best player on that team, which is disgusting to say.
I'd be
Or
willing
like
to say he's the
mentally,
best jungler at Worlds.
yeah, I mean he's insane at the game. Like he's genuinely insane. And you add Ruler with him, like, and you can't tell me Ruler. It's going to be hard. Well, we don't know how LPL will stack up against LCK. Ruler has one LCK, so
Yep.
Rulers won a lot of things. So it's like I don't know. I don't know if I'm buying like that JG can't handle themselves. They can handle themselves, but yeah, I can see that. Ruler's last international event wasn't good. I can agree with that.
I
So I
can
can see
s-
what he means.
I can see
Actually,
it.
for sure.
Here's the problem. One of the Chinese teams always shows up. And I pray to God it's JDG so that we stand a chance with Cloud9. Like, that's the hopium talking. But there's a
Hmm.
very real world where BLG just continues to ramp up as this tournament goes on, and it becomes
Oh, for
just
sure.
a stomp. Because, again, until I see T1 win a really tough best of 5
Hmm.
in a meaningful moment, I'm not going to be able to. Like,
T1 has some pretty bad stage fright in best of fives
they
at
do and
times.
they do and they don't. That's the weird thing. Is like you look at semifinals last year. They took care of business pretty well.
Yeah,
But then you get to finals and it's just like they some of the guys forget who they are. And it's like
yeah,
T1 could run all the way to finals from winners bracket. I will
yeah.
still pick whoever's against them in finals just because until they win it, I'm not picking them.
Yeah, and I know
I
it's
don't bet
like,
against the hot hand like that.
and it's a really big asterisk, like when we're saying that they have stage fright at times. That at times is like a really big asterisk of like, yes, I get they're making it to finals at every international event, and they're really good.
They have final stage fright. That's what it is.
Yeah,
They've
really,
won
all that's
one of
happening
4.
is they can't seem to beat hot teams. Like if somebody catches fire and matches them, it almost is like they don't know what to do when things aren't going really well. Like
Yeah.
even though I know they just did that to Mad, like they had that really cool fight, but I think against Mad they were confident the whole time that they were gonna curb stomp them, so it didn't matter. Yeah,
It's
you
a
could say it's
it's not just owner
owner.
because who got finals MVP in Worlds? I can tell you because I voted for him.
I don't know. Was it
Kingen.
Zeka?
Kingen.
Kingen?
Why? Because Kingen was absolutely
Oh
curb
yeah,
stomping Zeus
yeah, Zeus too. Yeah,
every game, and
yeah,
it wasn't even close. So it's like you look at T1 last year. They win spring, they lose MSI finals, they lose summer LCK finals, they lose Worlds finals.
yep,
They lost spring finals this year. They have yet
yeah.
to do it. So I am not convinced whatsoever that I'm convinced they can get to the final stage. That I am. I'm not convinced that they can win it.
Yeah, I mean, I'm actually like, yeah, I'm kind of convinced. I don't. I mean, the thing is, I just remember like you do have cons point of like SKT of old
How many years
does
ago was
ring a
that?
bell, but it's been a while. That's the
How
problem.
let me ask you this.
I don't know.
If us as NA are not allowed to say we've had international results since 2018 and 2018 is too far, you have to go back even another year to get to T1s. So
They
no,
haven't
I'm
won
not
since 2017.
2017.
Damn.
So yeah, no, I don't count SKT's old dynasty in their favor. This is now T1. This is a different team, different era.
True.
They do not get that buff from other things, despite fans being nostalgic for it. They could have 3
Yeah.
Worlds titles all they want. Faker's the only one with one on that team. And Faker has historic in the last 2 finals has looked like the worst player on that team. Or not the worst. Zeus in Worlds finals was worse than Faker. But in spring finals against Gen G, yeah, Faker looked really bad too.
I
That's
mean,
that's not anything
Faker
on Con
Faker
though.
has been my fear. Like that was my fear after those finals. I was like, dang, Faker's like choking pretty bad. That was my biggest problem with like what's gonna happen at this tourney because it genuinely seems like all the mids suck except Chovy and Knight
Yeah.
and Eminus. From what we know, we think he's good. Like I think he's good, but until we see him, I won't know. That's why I think like tomorrow's so big because it will like tell you, hey, is Eminus able to like actually punish Yagao? If he punishes Yagao, You'll have me fully convinced.
that he's like a world class mid laner.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Okay.
That he'll like hold his own, and that he can figure this out and not tilt. If they do end up just getting beat really bad, then it's like,
Yeah.
I get it.
Anything else you want to touch on with MSI before we have LCS related topics to move to? I don't really have it. We gave our predictions for those that might have missed it. I'm 3-0 Cloud9 purely off of Hopium. If you held a gun to my head, I'd say 3-1 BLG. Paul said he's 3-0 3-1 BLG.
And then we're both what 3-0 JDG.
Yeah, 3-0 JDG. I don't think Golden Guardians.
I was gonna say, are we even debating JDG?
I hate to say it, and this sucks, but I don't think Golden Guardians wins a single game in bracket stage.
Probably not. I don't think they're good enough.
Because then they would play. If they play BLG, I have faith that they can get one game on them. If they play Cloud9, they're not winning a game. Cloud9 will absolutely stomp them this time around. Not a doubt in my mind.
It's so bad that the spread on JDG Golden Guardians is 2.5.
2.5?
Yeah.
Oh my god. That's horrible.
You could bet Golden Guardians plus 2.5 games. So they think, and they're still plus odds at plus 2.5.
Are you able to tease that up to 3 at all? Are you allowed to take the plus? take a half game off of C9s and add it on the Golden Guardians. Give me.
They're so confident. If you want to bet JDT straight up, it's minus 5,000.
Really?
Yeah. So if you bet $100, you'd get $2.
Wow.
That's how favored JDG is to win the series.
And how much would you win if Golden Guardians took a single game off of them? If you just bet on is there a bet?
If you bet Golden Guard, well, the plus 2.5 is essentially them winning a game. You know what I mean?
How much would it if I put $100 on that? How much would it pay out?
160.
Not bad.
Yeah, I don't think that'd happen.
If they were to win the series, how much would $100 net me?
Looks like 1,300, but let me make sure.
100, we could do 1,300. Oh my god.
Well, they just don't think they'll win.
I feel like you're better. I feel like you should be putting $5 on every upset. Just
1,300, yeah.
You should be putting. Yeah, you should. You can't convince me that in an international tournament like this, you're not better off just putting $5 on the upset.
I think you'd be right if it wasn't best of fives.
Still, you hit one game out of say 100, that will cover your bet. You place that bet 100 times, and the upset's gonna happen at least once out of 100.
Well, the other upsets aren't really that big odds, though. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I know, but I'm saying that big one is bound to happen
yeah.
once in 100 games.
Yeah.
You think about the international best of 5 series that we've had. We haven't even had 50 in the last 5 years, and TL is close enough to that point that you would have cashed out on IG versus TL.
Yeah. But it's been I don't know. Those don't happen often. That's the thing.
I know.
But I mean odds like that.
Yeah, it's the nature of betting.
Yeah. Because Cloud9's only plus 230.
Yeah, that's not horrible.
That's crazy, man. They really don't not to make things about betting, my bad.
Oh, no, you're good.
Find it interesting what, you know what I mean, betting sites think, because usually they're pretty close.
Yeah. Let's get the LCS roster rumors out of the way. Let's cover this base. I don't know. Pick any team to start with, because every team it seems like has news/drama besides the two at MSI.
Yeah. I mean, we can start with EG.
Yeah, we'll start with EG.
I think EG is well, who'd they get? They've just picked up.
They went. What's his name from Immortals? Revenge.
Oh yeah.
It's Revenge, Armeo, aka Greg,
Ooh,
Jojo Pune,
okay.
uh, Unforgiven,
Okay.
and Ayla.
I mean,
You
hey, the
got you
bottom
have
half,
clear win points through JoJo and Unforgiven.
yeah. I
I
wouldn't touch Revenge with a 10-foot pole, but that's just
no,
me.
I think they're gonna be gatekeepers. Is like my view of EG. I think they are solidly fifth. No matter what, I think they're fifth, and
Yeah.
then it will be. It all depends on what NRG does. But I think 100
I
Thieves realistically could get ahead of them. I think Golden Guardians is still ahead of them.
I know everyone's mad at NRG for selling people, but I gotta preface this. I'm only mad at them for selling the good players. I don't get it. Like
What do you mean?
they took the two players who have probably held them up
I mean,
this long.
Luger was playing bad in spring. If we're being honest, like he was
Fairly.
in playoffs. If you go back and rewatch that series, he looked like he had no clue how to play League of Legends. It was
Yeah.
it was bad. FBI is 100% an upgrade in
Well,
every
FBI
way, shape,
is
or
an
form.
upgrade.
Yeah,
I'm not like mad at them getting FBI. I more just meant they they put all this work into getting rid. Well, FBI was a easy softball pitch, right?
yeah.
But like, I just mean how have they looked at this roster and gone, man, if we replace Luger and Poom, we're fine.
I mean, I don't think they think that they're fine. Which
I
the
know they
the
only
problem
have a
is like
year.
who
This
are you
is
gonna
not a lot of
upgrade
time.
Dokla for? Dokla looked better than anybody else that you could replace him with.
True. Tenacity though,
Tenacity, we'll get into that.
or unless he has a buyout, I wouldn't be surprised.
I I'd imagine he has a buyout attached to him.
Don't
So
let him play. Hold him back.
yeah, I'd imagine that. So that's gonna be jungle. I think is a problem for EG, but like
Inspired.
For NRG, I mean I have no clue what's going on with Inspired. If I'm NRG, that's not bad. But like I do want to highlight what Arsh said, and this has been pissing me off seeing this. The amount of people that are saying "fuck NRG," all this. You realize that CLG staff are still the people making the decisions here. They retain NRG. Literally just bought out the League of Legends pillar, so all the people making the moves on NRG right now are the CLG people. These moves likely would have happened no matter what. And I mean, they might not have happened if CLG wasn't willing to give them the cash for whoever they're going to buy out, but I'd imagine they got FBI pretty cheap. So it's like, I don't get the whole fuck NRG like slogan motto going on right now. This is still the same CLG people running the show for now. It makes no sense to me. I think CLG fans are just honestly so insanely butthurt that there is nothing that NRG could do that will win them over. And these people are trying to say, oh, I gave NRG a chance. You didn't give NRG shit. Don't even. You came in with preconceived notions from the jump. Tell me
I
I'm wrong.
mean, like if I was a CLG fan though, I'd be a lot more honest. But that's because I'm a TSM fan. If somebody bought my team and I didn't want to cheer for them, I would probably just say, I don't want to cheer for them because I just don't like them. But I don't know why a lot of people are like afraid of saying that. Like it's okay. Like I don't think any CLG fan has to be a fan of NRG, and you don't owe them anything. They bought your team. Like I get if you're mad at them, just the unnecessary like I don't know. Every time NRG makes a move, it seems to be awkward in the Twitter threads. Makes no sense to me. Like
It's the classic LCS. Like it, you know what? No, it's not even LCS. It's League of Legends players. Can't let go. Just hold a
yeah,
grudge until the end of time, and it will be your own downfall. You then wonder why. Oh, why am I not in Diamond? What? I don't know. You're still holding on to the same shit that you've been dealing with for years. LCS fans, you make matters worse by just dogpiling onto issues that we already know exist. Like I don't know what to tell you. get over it.
Yeah, and I mean, if their only attachment left was the players, like, I can understand you are kind of upset, but at the same time, it's just like, dude, what do you expect? It's new management. They want to win. You guys weren't winning.
It's not even
Like,
new management though. That's the thing.
well, I'm saying though, like, their top boss
Yeah,
is
sure.
probably setting higher standards and probably giving the staff money they never had. If we're being honest, he's probably telling them to actually do something and to get good players, not just sit with okay players. And
Yeah.
I mean that as respectfully as I can, but we know that CLG roster was never going to do anything. They were not winning LCS
No.
ever.
No.
Like, never.
They were gonna continue to be that team that sits on the bubble at 5th or 6th, and just
Yep.
like, I it amazes me the people that were upset that players change. It's like, how many times do you have to see this roster do the same thing for you to not understand exactly where they're gonna finish, which is
Yeah.
exactly where they were. Like
Yep.
it's you go in with the same roster next year or next split, it's gonna be the exact same shit. I don't know what to tell you.
Yeah. And it's not a slight to them. It's just how it is. Like, in my opinion, it's just like, hey, we know this team ain't cut, and it is what it is. They stink. Like, we're gonna replace the players. I know some people feel like they deserve a right to enjoy them,
Yeah.
but
Let
I don't have
I,
anything for you.
let me address Rico's point real quick. CLG was not coming to life as a top org. They were rebounding in terms of their good graces with the community. But tell me what content of theirs was popping off. Sure, the LCS pushed the narrative that CLG was doing well, and again, I really liked everybody involved. But they're not top org status. Like they're not pulling that kind of views, nor have that money, nor have like anything of that regard. It's very disingenuous to put them above where they are. They were a very good budget team and budget org. That's where they were. But don't put them in that top category because that's disingenuous to what they were actually doing.
Yeah, and I mean, like, anyways, right now, buying an LCS team is like, LCS doesn't have a lot of value right now. Not to be like the Doomer squad, but we all know it. Like, viewership's got kind of going
I,
down. So if you're gonna cut players and try to get players that are good, it makes sense. You kind of have to be a top dog team to get good views and to actually get money back from this in
Even
some
then,
way.
you're not getting all that much money back.
No, you're not.
So
So it's like, are you really gonna be mad at NRG for looking at CLG's budget team and going, hey, we need to upgrade this? Like, no, I genuinely feel like that's the right answer. If you're trying to make a sustainable business in a competitive league, you want to try not to be middle of the pack.
and on top of that, you need to do it with smart investments. You can't go out and pay the price
Mhm.
that FlyQuest is paying. Luna, come here. You cannot go
What
out
are
and
they
pay,
paying?
I don't know, probably top price in the league. God damn it.
Oh, really? I didn't even know FlyQuest was paying that much. Goodness. Well, look at me not having the knowledge that FlyQuest is paying that much money. Genuinely had no clue.
What were you saying?
I didn't know FlyQuest was paying that much money.
Yeah, you thought they got Prince for cheap? Come on.
Well, I assume Prince cost a lot, but I guess it just never really
Impact was a
dawned on
free
me that
agent.
Yeah, Speak and
And so was
Impact are
Speaking.
pretty expensive. Yeah,
Like both of them were able to demand the highest possible market value that they could.
makes sense.
The only way that FlyQuest technically saved money was that they didn't have to pay buyouts, which is
And I
good.
forgot they bought. Now they bought Vulcan.
Which Vulcan they probably got on a discount, all things considered. Like I don't think
But
EG.
still, bro, their team is so good.
It's gonna be good. Yeah.
It's gonna be so good.
Let
It all
me.
comes down to Vikla.
I will say this though. I'm still hyped for 100 Thieves. We are the wild card of everything going on. Nobody knows how Quid's gonna do. He could be the next M&S. And if he's like if he is on par with M&S, the fact that he's subbed in for Gen G's main team this year, granted out of necessity, but still actually like didn't look bad. Like, I'm excited. Kid's young. You put him in there. You have Someday and Kane to help him transition. If Busio keeps developing, I'm hyped. We'll have to figure out the double lift problem in a little while.
Yeah, I mean,
We'll deal with
fine.
that when we get to it. But I'm not, to address what we were saying earlier with tenacity. I'm really not happy with how he handled that.
Well, I was about to say it's fine if Quid does bad anyways. You guys will just replace him.
True. I feel bad because
Well, actually, he could do good if you'll replace him.
that I don't know. We hold on. Well, okay. Prior to this year, we held on to players for longer than I would have thought we would have held on to them. This is the first time that we've like really, at least in my tenure as a 100 Thieves fan, like really let go of people quickly. Now, Bjergsen retiring just is what it is. Like, that's not on us. That's him. But the tenacity thing is like, bro.
I think it was kind of hilarious, the tenacity thing, in the sense of like, it really makes the stuff that they said about Bjergsen just look like bitchin' now. Like, the fact they said all that complaining about how he went out and things he said, like how Bjerg didn't give them time, and I get all their gripes were valid, blah blah blah.
Yeah.
But now, and then you go do this to your player. Don't say, hey, we're a professional org that deserves professional things. When you just look at your players, and for the second year in a row, not once, the second time,
Yep.
you bench him for the same guy who I honestly don't think is increasing the ceiling that high.
No, I don't think he's increasing the ceiling. I get this
Maybe
move though.
bringing up the floor.
I do understand this
Maybe.
move because honestly, and I said this on Twitter and got a lot of shit for it. You give me the choice between Someday and Tenacity to help usher in a new Korean mid laner to the team and know that neither one of them is probably going to be starting on the roster come spring of next year when Sniper becomes of age. Yeah, I'd rather have Someday. As long as cost isn't a problem, like you get Someday really cheap and you're not paying anything for Tenacity or whatever the hell the deal is with that, then I get that move. It does make sense in my mind. And realistically, if I'm a GM, I probably do the same thing if I'm being honest. But the way that they handled Tenacity over the last 3 years is fucking horrible. He doesn't get in because Someday starts performing well. They hold him in contract jail with such a high buyout that he can't go anywhere else. And then the moment you start him on your team, you do the thing that I said you should have done from the beginning, which was probably sell him off. And just keep Someday for another year. Pay the price. Do what you got to do for Someday, assuming he was a little bit more expensive than we thought. Like, why? You heard me complain about that at the beginning of the year. And for those that doubt me, go back in the VODs and check when we were talking about this initial rumor with Tenacity coming in. As hyped as I was, I said he's on a leash. He's on a 1-year leash. And you're better off, quite frankly, if you're not going to sell him and you're not 100% certain how it's going to work out with his year, you're going to ruin his contract value for you as an org and for him as a player.
Yep.
And that's exactly what they did. They should have sold him.
Honestly, if I'm a rookie, I don't know if I'd trust 100 Thieves in the future.
As
which
of right
I know
now,
sounds like really aggressive or like dramatic, but I would put 100 Thieves, like, yes, they're still above what the TSMs, the Mortals, and the Digs. Like, they're still way above that. I'm not saying they're there.
Yeah.
I'm saying, like, if I'm going into the league, I don't know if I go to 100 Thieves as a rookie other than Sniper.
Or if I'm going there, I make sure that my agent is putting in a no buyout clause.
Yeah.
Like, I don't, like, make sure that it's like, okay, I don't mind staying in, but triple check that there's no fucked up buyout clause. Because I do not, clearly 100 Thieves was able to set the price. and that should happen. So, as a player, I'm watching my ass because I don't trust them.
Yeah.
They're a business. They're going to make business moves. It's a shitty situation, but that's it.
Like, I'd love to see Tenacity at
EG.
like EG,
Oh,
or
100%.
just throw him. If I know replacing Dokla would suck. Like, Dokla's not bad, but NRG could pick up Tenacity. I think Tenacity's great. Like, from what we saw this year, he looked pretty great. It was very clear that Bjerg was like not into it this season,
Yeah.
and he was not playing well. It was showing. So either way, your team gets way better adding a new mid laner who wants to play the game, and then you go and bench this guy, which I get. Everything you said is 100% accurate. It makes sense. It just leaves a terrible
Oh,
taste
yeah.
when you take the way that they also tried to run the GOAT of NA for some people. I'm not gonna say everybody, but a lot of people have Bjergsen Sonata, like, and LCS is the same word, damn near.
Yeah.
And you're gonna run his name through the mud and then put a kid in contract jail. At least just be honest that you're basically villains at this point to most people. Or if I'm me, the TSM fan, some random org, because I mean we are now. Let's be honest, we're dog water.
Yeah.
But like, I'm gonna watch 100 Thieves games. I'm probably gonna cheer against y'all. Not just because I don't want you to talk shit to me. Now because I'm like genuinely like, hey, you guys are some shitty people. Like, why you keep treating people like this?
Yeah.
Like, and I know it's
I
all ironic coming from me because we held Sven.
I mean
But
the thing is, in order to rectify this situation, which it's not going to for a lot of people. People are going to hold it over the org for a long time. In order to rectify it, you need to start Sniper in spring. You need to show that that was the play.
yeah,
If you do not start him, the moment he's able to start and give him all the time in the world to develop, like him and Busio need to be your franchise players forever, then you got a problem.
they could have just traded him for someday too.
Yeah.
Trade him on a minimum and let him at least play. And nobody thinks you guys are villains anymore.
Yep. Always.
Even starting Sniper is still tough because you still screwed him over. You haven't
Yeah.
rectified what you did. You know what I
No.
mean?
No, and that's the problem. Is it's going to be a stain forever.
Yeah.
It's going to be one that's going to be it's going to take years to
It's
fully get over.
definitely, in my opinion, what makes it. I don't want to.
Difficult for
I
people
don't
to
want this
find
make it
consolation
difficult
in the
for
teams.
you, but I'm just gonna say it doesn't shock me when fans of COD teams who are the ones most LCS fans who gravitated to 100 Thieves were fans of other COD teams. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It doesn't shock me when those fans move back to their COD team if they buy into the league.
Oh yeah.
I know this is directly like in your wheelhouse, so I don't want to get you in trouble with any of them.
Why
But
would
it's
it get
like
me in trouble?
I don't know. I just don't want 100 Thieves people to be like, oh man, they're just saying that all of a sudden people aren't going to support us if Optic bought in. But I think a lot of people who like Optic and like 100 Thieves would go to Optic if Optic bought in
There's
because
not
100 Thieves has done nothing to build a relationship.
the problem is there's not a lot of Optic LCS fans. So I don't think it would have I think it
True.
would have minimal impact. I mean, if we're being honest, I don't want to say this cuz this comes off really egotistical. I'm just going to say this. I think I have a fairly not a loud voice in the community, but I don't have an insubstantial one at this point. I've had to, you know, I've had to watch
Hmm.
things that I'm saying now because of that. If Optic comes back in the league, I immediately go to Optic. And I think I don't know, I feel like I could direct a little bit of conversation there, which it's not insignificant. It's not nothing. It's something. And that's, I don't know, more than fucking teams like Immortals have going for them. Who knows?
Yeah. No, it's true. And but it's like tough because it's like, I don't understand why they keep shooting themselves in the foot, especially with everyone else dying. 100 Thieves is not dying as a brand. They might be one of the last ones left, but
We
I
just
can tell
signed one
you
of the biggest
this.
sponsorships in
Yeah,
league in not league history, but like nobody else is signing deals right now. We just landed Subway, which is massive.
yeah. And you guys are doing everything in your power to get. When all these teams sell, I don't see a lot of fans going to 100 Thieves to cheer. Just
Not
because of
at
the
the
way you
moment.
guys treat things.
Yeah.
Like,
The
I don't
the
I don't know. But I
it's
am like my own person, so there's a chance maybe a lot of people would change over to 100 Thieves.
maybe, but I feel like as of right now, you still have the influx of Double It fans, so it makes it tough. Like
True.
that's, and I'm not sure we're doing a good enough job to convince the Double It fans to become 100 Thieves fans. Like we being honest, our content hasn't been great. It still hasn't really gone up. Like I look at the, let me pull up the 100 Thieves League of Legends YouTube channel and see what they've been doing.
Well, as long as you weren't dicks when he retires, it should be fine.
I mean, and
Like,
I doubt we will
yeah,
be,
just
but
don't shit talk him on the way out the door.
the last piece of content that we put out was voice comms. And like all of our videos are getting over 30K views, but that's almost entirely on the back of Bjergsen and Doublelift. We've done
Mhm.
nothing to build a brand individually as 100 Thieves fans. Like, yeah, sure, their streams are popping up, and I think Busio is slowly becoming that. But when you look at like, again, I as good as it is to see fans of players and their individual stuff popping off, I want to see team content really
Yeah.
popping off. And when I look at their YouTube channel, which is the most indicative of that, I'm not seeing a lot. Actually, I'm seeing nothing. So,
Well, you have a League of Legends YouTube, don't you?
yeah, that's my point. We have one video in the last month, and that is the
Oh
how
yeah.
the Subway announcement. That's it.
Yeah.
So I want to see us doing more, and hopefully the Subway partnership does something. But even then, I don't. It shouldn't take that. It really shouldn't.
Yeah. I mean, you're not wrong. I'm looking at your YouTube channel though. You got decent views.
Decent views, but again, it's not any like. This is not sustainable content once Doublelift and Bjergsen leave.
Very good point. That's fair.
And the latest video definitely did not have Tenacity in it. The Subway announcement video only had Closer, Busio, and Doublelift in it.
Well, yeah.
So,
We all know why.
yeah, pretty obvious. It's 11 o'clock, so I promised Emily I'd be getting done.
Okay, you can go later.
So she said I can go a little bit later. Perfect. We're bringing this up. Uh, I, okay, obviously pissed some people off today, of which I think I then proceeded to make people angry as well because I furthered the conversation on it, which is obviously brought up and dropped the bomb that apparently one day in the LCS studio cost around $50,000. She asked,
Really?
is it worth us going to online to not have to worry about paying that? All these teams already have. We know we can play online. We've done it already.
Hey, go on as long as you want. It's fine.
Sounds good. Love you.
Don't be too loud.
The question becomes, are we past the point where being in studio makes any sort of meaningful difference?
I mean, she's kind of speaking
You
facts a
got
little bit.
you gotta go listen to that whole thing. It is like the last 20 minutes of that episode are just fire. Like
I did
really,
read.
really good.
I read a good tweet she made about how like she sees that as a good cost cutting method because like right now it's too expensive for teams to move
Yeah.
from like LA out, and I can kind of see it. I can kind of see it's. I don't know how much longer though I could watch the league without fans.
I mean,
I like the fans and the
to,
cheering.
but okay, what fans were there?
That's what I'm saying though. Like, I'm saying in general, I've been struggling this season. I've struggled with
Yeah.
it a lot. Watching regular season games, I didn't really like watching like full games live because it was kind of like so quiet,
Yeah.
awkwardly quiet almost.
I will say this, and I didn't get to say this on the tweet thread, and I think it deserves to be said here because people thought there was a lot of like fighting going on Twitter about stuff like this, and
Mhm.
the people that said that were notably involved with the LCS and out in LA. So I want to give the perspective of a fan that is literally not there and purely watching this online for 90% of it. Being in that arena arguably hurts more than it helps when there's no fans there. I'd rather watch an online match between these teams than hear Golden Guardian, or not Golden, hear Immortals and Dignitas play and there not be anybody there, or knowing in the back of my head the two people that are yelling are staff members for one of the team.
Wow.
That does nothing for me and arguably makes it worse. It makes me just sit there and be like, damn, we got nothing. We really got nothing. LCS should not, first and foremost, LCS should not be charging for tickets to show up to the stadium anymore. You shouldn't. It's not like you're not driving enough value. Two, I just think Ovily's right. Like, I look at Call of Duty, and Call of Duty does all of their games online except for the LAN weekends, which are 4 days in total, one of them without fans on Thursday, and then Friday, Saturday, Sunday all have fans. And it is a notable difference, and you build towards those events. I'd rather have more of those. I'd rather.
I mean, if you, yeah, well, if you did so 2 weeks of regular season, right? Well, you might have to add more games, but we have 9 weeks of regular
we're
season.
swapping
right?
we're swapping to the LEC format. Don't forget.
Okay, then do the last weekend of those on the road.
Yeah, which would be 3 days in total.
I don't know if I love that.
I love it. I think you can do
Kinda
Friday.
like it.
You do Friday for like the loser semifinal match, and it's kind of a little bit more of a chilled environment. But then Saturday, Sunday are like the real like losers final, winners final, like pop off things.
I can see it.
If I had my choice, if we're gonna go online, if we're truly saying, okay, like, screw the arena, it's not worth the cost, everything, give up on the current LCS format and go to tournaments. And give me 5 tournaments a year where we're traveling.
Huh.
Have some online games that like qualify towards it and give you like a record so we can because all 10 teams need to be able to go to the event. But from there, just do a single elimination best of 5 bracket in the arena. And have that over the course of 3 days. And have it be like a full tournament with like 2 best of 5s on the final day, not just one. Like, I don't want people showing up to the arena for one series. We're now making this a full weekend-long event.
Yeah. Do you think they could even do that, though? Players would be so tired by...
I don't give a fuck. Like, I'm not trying to be rude, but I'm sorry. What we're doing's clearly not working. If even Ovily is now pitching these conversations and Captain Flowers is sitting there agreeing with her, that should tell people that something's wrong massively and you need to change shit up. And the amount of people that I saw like really pissed at like, oh, we can't give up what the studio gives us. What does the studio give us? We're still losing viewership. Nothing we've done has worked. And I still think the change to weekdays was horrible. I will take online games on the weekend over weekday empty arena LAN events any day. Literally any day.
Yeah, I mean, but I'm just thinking because that's a lot. Like, it's a lot to think about
It
and
is.
take in,
It's
but
a
it's
big
probably
topic.
actually better. It's probably better if you did it that way. And the money you'd save, like, I liked her point about I just saw the Twitter thread, but
Yeah.
I liked her point about doing what was it? Saving the money for like advertising and things, or you could save it for those road shows too.
Yeah.
Like, but I mean, you can do more advertising with streamers. I know she wrote that. I don't I don't
No.
really think that brings long-term fans though.
No.
I imagine.
Absolutely not. I don't. We're not
I
at
mean,
the
I'll put
point
it
where
this way: the
streamers can save it.
co-streaming era led us into the worst, into worse viewership.
Yeah.
Like our
Because
co-streaming era hasn't helped.
because when you're relying on co-streaming goes to where the games are popular because you're relying upon the personalities.
Yep.
And League's not that game.
No.
So it
Low
ultimately
key though, if
key.
they
Oh god.
what?
No god.
I was gonna say low key if they do though online only, would it be worth it like they do in um what is it called in Apex? And like a lot of games, they let the players stream while they play. I'd watch those.
That'd be great.
I don't think teams would do it because of strategy reasons. They don't want to
Yeah.
let their comms be leaked.
Oh,
But
absolutely.
if you could watch teams' comms, it'd be so cool.
That'd be great. That'd be phenomenal.
Yeah.
I mean, Call of Duty used to stream scrims for a long time.
Yep.
Like I used to be able to go on, get home from school, and they start streaming their scrims, and you get like a good litmus test for like where we're at, and like
Yeah.
start watching that, and it leads into LAN events, and it was content for days, and it's just like I don't know. I don't want to make too many people mad, but and I know I keep harping on this horse, but like I'm sorry to the people out in LA, but it just didn't work.
No.
That's what it ultimately comes down to. The like League of Legends in Los Angeles in that studio, in my opinion, is more or less done. You will not fill the stands out for those games all weekend ever again, in my opinion.
Wait, does COD stream voice comms?
Yeah, they do. They don't stream individual points of view, but they do throw in, uh, like you go to like what they call like a Astro or Turtle Beach listening, and they will listen in to rounds in the middle of games. So you will hear all of their call outs, all of their swearing, everything.
Yeah, but how good is that if they did that in League?
It can be oh, in League I don't think it really adds much. In Call of Duty, like they're talking a mile a minute and it's hilarious as shit.
Yeah, but they talk so much in League, bro, in a team fight.
They do. I mean,
Like,
I think it'd be fun. Like it'd be a great point of view to have. And they tried it this past off season, don't forget. Or
true.
this past split, or no, that was like summer, I think. And then players and teams got pissed, and it's like, I don't know.
They're
The-
not very good at, I will say this, the players and teams need to realize at some point there is a line between competition and the fact that you are an entertainment business,
Yep.
and that we're trying so hard to just be competitive. But I will say this, and this is just how it is. Y'all got better start winning international events if you're going to keep harping on competition
Yep.
for not
Absolutely.
entertainment purposes.
Yep.
Like, you have to be winning. You can't be getting whooped in 16 minutes like EU did and then say, well, don't stream our voice comms for competitive fairness. And it's like, well, buddy, then win. Because you
Yep.
don't win with it right now. It's not
And
working right now.
that's what look, CB LOL has the benefit of having a
Mm.
passionate fan base that will follow them till the ends of the earth. We don't have that. What we have is entertainment.
Yeah.
We are in North America, the entertainment capital of the world. We have LA, we have New York, like everything's here. And the fact that we're so tunnel visioned on competition is just mind-blowing to me. And
Yeah.
I'm sorry if I offend anybody with the LCS, with those out in LA. I don't mean to put down things that we're doing, but it's just like there's just so many choices that I just look at and it's like, why are we not focusing on entertainment first?
Well, it's because the results just aren't there. Like, the effort is there. I understand they're trying,
Yeah,
but the results are not working.
but if
So at some point, you have to.
you're putting all your effort into something that's not working, at what point do you stop and call yourself crazy?
Yep. And I mean, at this point, if it moves to all on the web, I don't really have a huge issue with that because it makes sense. Like, it really would, to be honest. There's if nobody's showing up, what's the point?
Yeah.
Like that, or you could just do super weeks. Like, I don't know.
Even I mean, sure, but it's like,
But it's too late now because we're going to EU's format.
yeah. So it's 3-day weeks every week. So
Yeah,
there's no such thing as a, super
week. Yeah,
But
because everything's a super week.
the thing that has to happen though, if you go to online viewership, you need teams to put in the effort. We need content. We need players to like step up. Like, if you're gonna make that swap and players continue to do nothing and teams continue to do nothing as a whole, and that's not, I don't want to generalize that. There are some people that are obviously trying to do a lot, but we're not innovating. We're not doing things that are bringing in new viewers. Like, it's tough. Have a good night, Sad School. It can work, but I don't know.
I mean, it's to the point where whether people want to say it or not, and this is becoming an entertainment league for the foreseeable future until they can start winning again. So at this point,
Again?
or my bad, start winning.
I hate to be the party pooper.
Yeah, my bad. And like, you got to think about it too. It's like, I know competition is supposed to be what drives it and all that, and you want the highest amount of competitive integrity, and so probably teams will never go for our idea, right, of using voice comms.
I think they might not have a choice soon, but that's beside the point.
But it's also like, right now you're in such a bad spot that, buddy, you're hoping there's a league to compete in a couple of years. Like, assuming economy keeps going the way it is. So at this point, you should be doing they should be doing everything in their power to help promote the league as well. Like, because we had that little run where players got paid a lot more than they were worth, technically, and a lot of them quit streaming too, like the grassroots way, because streaming used to be a big way of bringing in money for guys, like extra money, but
Yep.
now they're all getting paid so well they don't really need streaming, so they just do their job and that's it. But league isn't really, I don't know, the players just aren't that interesting without streaming IMO. I think streaming was a pretty big part of League of Legends.
Yeah, because it was a way for you to understand who they were as a person and get to know them and get to understand, like,
because
to
EU
understand
still
the
streams a
teams.
lot,
Yeah.
and I think it helps them a ton.
Cadrill's averaging 60, or not 60, like 40K viewers on his co-stream.
Yeah.
And that's just all like EU diehard fans going in there and just hyping, like, ride or dying with the emotion. And it's like, even if you're not a fan of the players, you can be a fan of EU and go in and watch that because you know what to expect. What one of our co-streamers gives you that same feeling?
None really.
Dom is the closest one. I know LS is signed with FlyQuest. If T1 faces FlyQuest, who do you think he's internally pulling for?
I mean, I would see him. He's probably pulling for T1.
Double Lift, Doublelift was a fan of NA, but the best way to do this is just compare Cadril to these guys. Cadril is able to sit here and like hype up China and Korea and talk about how they're so good, but you never doubt for a second that he is fully on the side of like EU and EU pride and like
Yeah.
wearing the losses on his sleeve. And he'll be sad, but he's never gonna like put down EU. He's just it's gonna suck. Whereas if we lose, I have full faith that our co-streamers are just gonna start laying into our players and everything else there, and just
Well,
talking
what do you
about how
think
the
about
region.
Mad saying Genji win? Did you see that?
No,
Mad's Twitter account put under the MSI tweet that said, "Who do you want to win, G2 or Genji?" They put hashtag Genji win.
Jesus. I mean, Europe's big enough to the point where they can afford to shit talk each other on the international stage
Yeah.
and get away with it. We're
Yeah.
not. But
It was pretty funny though.
I don't know. The thing that I came to terms with when reacting to Caster's Couch on Twitter today was that it makes me really happy that I'm a fan of teams and not players through all of this. Because even despite the shitty things that 100 Thieves has done with Tenacity and Optic's obvious failures in certain aspects of the business and their Valorant application, all that crap, if League were to shrivel up and go somewhere else, I would end up just falling for whatever the teams are into. Sure, nothing would ever replace that hole, but like that at least gives you something to fall back on. And like I can find consolation in that and entertainment in that.
Now I was hearing that not a lot of people were at the games.
At MSI?
Allegedly. Yeah. For the play-ins. There's a lot now.
Yeah.
But apparently play-ins was not very packed.
Yeah, well, I mean, that makes sense. I hate to say it,
But-
it's the minor regions. And for
Yeah.
the times that G2 played were also the weekdays.
True. Actually, very true. I feel very odd about Riot's current, I don't know, their love affair with weekday games has just been weird to me.
I know. I don't like it. It just screams wanting to make your cake and eat it too, or whatever that phrase is. I'm just like, they're
Yeah.
overdoing it.
Have your cake and eat it too.
Yeah, like keep working the weekend angle. Keep like
Yeah.
pushing the things that are making you good at what you are. Don't bite off more than you can chew. And I think they are.
You want to make your league something that like people look forward to throughout the work week, not something that they're hoping they can catch the game while at work type deal.
Yeah, especially for I mean, it really sucks to know that it's going to be a long time before we ever have an international tournament that's on at primetime hours for us ever again.
Yeah.
Worlds this year, we're all going to be on VOD Squad. Like, nobody's going to be able to wake up at 3 a.m. in the morning to catch those games. Now, like, today's series was done on the East Coast by, like, 9:30 or 10 o'clock, something like that.
Yep.
So, it's like, I don't know. Just, I hate that things keep turning into doomer topics and conversations. I don't know.
Well,
I don't know what to do about it. Like I'm
The
trying.
unfortunate thing is that people are gonna be pretty doomer right now when Europe is getting cooked.
We gotta stop talking about the LCS, I guess.
No, I'm just saying, like, people are nervous right now, man. I can feel it.
Oh,
Because
I know.
the West is, like, not really sitting pretty, and the East is looking kind of like a bunch of dogs right now.
Tomorrow's the look. I gotta wrap this up and get this exported over, but I think it's safe to say tomorrow is the day.
Yeah, you mean
Tomorrow,
when I go to bed.
yeah, when you go to bed is gonna be when we find out, is the West truly doomed?
Yeah.
That it's as simple as that.
Yep. Gotta hope it's not. Gotta believe.
I hope not, but we'll see.
I
I,
think they're good though. I think genuinely Cloud9 is in a half decent spot.
Agreed. I have hope. That's the important part. Anyways, thank you everybody for tuning in to stream. Uh, we'll catch you on next week's episode. I'm hoping that I can stream probably on Monday and maybe Friday night after I get back from the movies, but we will see. So, we'll catch y'all on the next one. Adios. Have a good night.
Adios.